One of the progressive, online, reliable news sources, besides the Young Turks, is the Ring of Fire. Now, the Ring of Fire um, is a little more progressive than MSNBC, where you would expect MSNBC to talk about the progressive agenda. The Ring of Fire does that. MSNBC became, the corporate Democratic news network where they talk about how great establishment politics is and how great, establishment politics works for America, which we all know that isn't true. And so I just found the story. It's from today. It's not a shock to me, because if Clinton becomes the presumptive Democratic nominee, that is, if she's not indicted within the week coming up of the FBI interviewing her, lack of a better term, where basically they're going to interrogate her sometime next week or within the week coming up. That was on the news today. So that is if Clinton isn't indicted. If she is indicted, well, we have Bernie Sanders, who's going to be the presumptive and will be the Democratic nominee. So it's a possibility that Bernie will be the nominee, and it's also a possibility Clinton will be the nominee. But if Hillary Clinton is the presumptive Democratic nominee, this is what worries me. You're going to see more of this. Clinton protester manhandled by security during Cinco de Mayo event. And I want to show you the picture of the protester. A young Hispanic woman is holding a sign saying, "We only matter when it's Cinco de Mayo." And she's right about that. I'll explain after I read the story. This is a sort of treatment you expect from a Donald Trump rally, but unfortunately this event of violence was the other side of the aisle, as a protester was roughly removed from a Clinton rally as he shouted, "Black Lives Matter." During a Hillary Clinton rally on Cinco de Mayo, the Democratic frontrunner faced quite a bit of opposition from the predominantly Hispanic area of East Los Angeles, as long lines of protesters attempted to make their voice heard. While most of the protesters did not enter the event, many stood outside, shaming the leaving attendees and calling Clinton a liar. Many held posters, some which called Clinton out on her instances of Hispandering. More than one protester has been removed from the event, but this was particular incident caught on camera, which deserves the most scrutiny. Rather than being respectfully and carefully removed, the protester's signs was snatched away and he was forcefully pulled away from the candidate. Of course, it must be noted that unlike Donald Trump, Clinton has made no comments about committing violence on protesters, nor encouraged her supporters to rough up those who do not like Clinton. We would advise Clinton to apologize for the rough actions taken by her security and advise that they better handle those who oppose her in the future as a respectful candidate would. And they posted the video. I'm going to play it for you. So as you see, he was going to approach her and say, what are you trying to do to us? Are you going to brand us a racist term? What are you going to do? He was protesting her, but not in a violent way. But he was taken out in such a harsh way that it's unacceptable. It's really unacceptable. And this is why Hillary supporters are so shocked when they hear a lot of Bernie supporters won't vote for her in the general election. This is one of the main fucking reasons why we won't. If you think we're going to support someone who uses subtle racism to get votes from white people, who feel like they've been beaten down by the system and that immigrants are taking their jobs and all that, Clinton uses substantive racism more than Bernie Sanders does, because guess what? Bernie isn't a bigot. Hillary is. And this is evident by that video. Sure, remove any Hispanic protester, because guess what? Their voice doesn't count. That's exactly what that shows. So, in conclusion, if you support Hillary Clinton and you're not a bigot, don't be surprised if you're labeled a substantive racist or a racist. Don't be surprised if you're labeled that. And if you're labeled that, you deserve to be labeled that. You really do. Because Hillary Clinton doesn't really care about the minority voting bloc. She really doesn't. She doesn't care about the black community. She doesn't care about the Hispanic community. She only cares about the money she makes. She only cares about the money she makes. And that's what you want in a president? Someone who just cares about the greed and shits on the American people? That's what you really want? I don't know about you guys, but I don't want Clinton as president. I don't want Trump either. But guess what? I won't vote for the lesser of two evils. It comes down to those two schmucks.